welcome to O1. On tonight's show, we've got Jessica Lange, the woman who proves that being blonde does not necessarily mean bleaching your brain cells.
I know that, Your Honor. And before this trial is over, I will prove it to you.
We'll be talking to Ben, Most of Your Mouth, right on How's Your Mother? Yes, indeed, folks. Elton about his latest play, Gasping.
Sounds a bit grown up.
It does sound grown up, but I don't mind dropping a bit of French in. I'm often accused of using language.
Plus some fancy footwork from Russia with the Kirov Ballet.
Plus music from His Royal Purpleness, Prince. Prince's epic 15 Nights at Wembley Arena promised to be the shows of the year. Never a man to rest on his laurels, every tour and every record has been different, which maybe explains why he sold 40 million albums. Now this tour, incidentally called Nude, should be no exception. It's brand new, and there's rumour...
You know what's happening in London. You watch O1. You watch O1. You watch O1.
Ben Elton is worried about the hole being made in the ozone layer, although some people think it may be caused by all the hot air being made by Ben Elton. Whatever you may think, Ben never pauses for breath. His new play, Gasping, starring Bernard Hill and Hugh Laurie, hopes to turn people green using black humour.
I've got figures to pitch at you that will be harder to swallow than an Aeroflot breakfast.
So, we have a Percy problem.
What motivated you to write a play?
Well, it's sort of the pursuit of new genres, really. I have really...
Sounds a bit grown up.
It does sound grown up, but I don't mind dropping a bit of French in. I'm often accused of using language. Well, I used a bit of French there.
There is a certain horny chick from creative marketing who's been working pretty closely with a certain hot guy from Lockhart. And this certain horny chick reckons this certain hot guy is sort of special. You know, a real tasty geezer.
The characters are those dreadful exec-speak characters, you know, who talk in, there's, like no human being ever speaks. They have things like, I think we're going into a dodo spiral.
And I don't want to say this, but perhaps some of the more staid and perhaps the older critics found it quite difficult that there are so many jokes in it, because plays don't have that many jokes normally, that a comedy is normally a kind of warm and gentle thing.
The whole play tends to become, instead of a play, a series of stand-up comic strip sketches, and you just get the feeling that Elton actually lost his bottle as a playwright and fell back on any gag will do, you know, please don't stop laughing.
What's more, I've got a kind of girly suspicion that with the right kind of persuasion, he'd rut like a charging elephant and could find a G-spot blindfold with his hands tied behind his back.
God, it's a bit Harry Hotten here, is it?
I found my laughter really drying up. I was sitting there just admiring the cleverness, but it was tending to disappear up its own cleverness, so to speak.
From British-born Hollywood director Tony Top Gun Scott comes Revenge. Set in Mexico, it's a tale of macho passion and bloody revenge. Now, it stars Anthony Quinn, who's a mega-rich American who's married to a very beautiful young girl. Enter his friend, a young Kevin Costner, who also falls in love with the wife. Oh dear, the movie begins.
Are you angry with me?
No. A little put out with myself, actually.
About what?
Letting this get even remotely out of hand.
From what I can decipher, this film is about a young man who's a pilot. He leaves his whatever it is, the Air Force, goes off to visit an old, extremely rich friend of his, played by Anthony Quinn, who has an extremely beautiful young wife, played by Madeleine Stowe. Kevin Costner and Madeleine Stowe get it together, have one night of unadulterated, well, not even one night, I think it was about 15 minutes in a closet. And this is the premise for the rest of the movie.
I think what makes for the most interesting stories, ultimately, are stories about men and women. I think we'll never stop seeing that. I think that's what holds people's interest. It's what makes for good cinema.
Do you think my wife is beautiful?
What? What do you want me to say? Of course.
She's got the most extraordinary wardrobe of lingerie. And of course, she's a very wealthy woman. Why shouldn't she
never
have?
wears knickers,
But exactly, she's constantly wearing suspenders and no knickers. Now, I think that love scenes are wonderful, but not if they're, again, in this film, there is no substance to this relationship, which makes the sexual relationship kind of really gratuitous. This is an aesthetic, this movie. This is not about anything. It doesn't deal with any human emotional issues. It doesn't deal with, it claims to deal with sexuality on a certain level. I refute that completely. I don't think it deals with it at all. I think that, again, the female character here is like something out of a men's magazine rather than a real human being. I think that it'll probably do great business in this country and the critics will love it.
And now for some footwork more fancy than Gorbachev's performance at the summit. We're talking Kirov Ballet, the balletic version of Bollinger, the choreographic equivalent of Caviar.
They're opening with Corsair, which is a real old ramshackle, preposterous ballet, really. It's very much in the 19th century tradition of ballet as sort of circus and spectacle. You know, there's a shipwreck, there are fountains on stage. There's this kind of real Errol Flynn type plot, you know. And I think to those who value the Kirov for their purity, it's not going to be their favourite ballet. I mean, it's ridiculous. In fact, if you tried to explain what the plot is, you couldn't follow it because it's full of so many kind of absurdities.
The mandatory Swan Lake also takes flight in their repertoire.
Swan Lake has often suffered from people trying to give it a very fashionable new slant, redesign it, give it a sort of psychological gloss or whatever. And actually to see the ballet straight, to see it pure, to see it danced by dancers who look like aristocrats, who look like a transformed princess, who look like a kind of besotted prince. I mean, that is a great, great experience. The West has benefited from a lot of the Kirov stars. I mean, Nureyev, Baryshnikov, Makarova all were trained at the Kirov school and performed with the Kirov company before they defected. The dancers are now being allowed to guest with other companies. New works are going to be brought into the repertoire, so all the frustrating conditions that caused people like Makarova and Nureyev to defect just don't exist anymore. I think it's an exciting company to be in now.
So be there or be square.
Like a bird on the wire.
As individuals, Art Erin, Charles and Cyril Neville command a vast array of musical experience. But together, as the Neville brothers, they exemplify the sound of New Orleans. But what is the sound of New Orleans when it's at home? Indeed, what is it when it's at the Town and Country Club?
Like a fish on a hook. Like a knife from some old-fashioned book.
There's no really set technical thing. The sound is more that there's this feeling in the music, this feeling of sincerity.
The Neville brothers have become synonymous with New Orleans, but would you say that you were a classic example of the sound as such?
In a way, yes, because what our sound is a combination of a lot of different influences. So we've got elements of gospel, doo-wop, swing, jazz, blues.
So the list does go on, doesn't it? There's certainly a lot of very famous musicians who hold you in very high esteem, aren't there?
Yes, there are, and part of the reason that happened, I think, is because these other artists recognized that, well, what we were doing was more art than performance. And the live performance still is really our main thing.
Like a bird on a wire.
This week's selection. On this week's O1 selection, it's time to get your shorts out. At number 3, a pair of bum-hugging gold lycra numbers from Zoo. At number 2, a pair of DIY cut-down denims, easy to get your hands on. At number 1, the punk hunk with the over-the-knee NFL specials on. Shame about the panty line.
Well, after the break, we're going to shoot Les.
What? What? What are we doing?
Right.
Well, let's see where the television people have sent us this week. Where's the mystery envelope? Where are we?
I know where we are. I know where we are this week.
Where are we?
It's somewhere where you've always wanted to go to, Les.
Well, little treat.
A special surprise treat for you, somewhere where you've always wanted to go.
Paris?
No, it's Wimbledon. Wimbledon.
Wimbledon. I've always wanted to go there, have I?
We've gone through the green bit here, and now we're going to the windmill, you see? You see, it's a museum, but it's in a windmill. It's a gimmick, you see? It's a gimmick. Well, Les and I were in the Scouts, weren't we, Les?
Yeah, both joined up on the same day.
In the very first week, I won 3 badges, one for cooking, one for washing up, and one for drying up, I think it was.
Yeah, and in the second week, I got one for Morse code, and Robert got one for high explosives. Or was it fox hunting?
No, badger baiting.
Badger baiting.
Beep, 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 beep.
Look, we got passes, we just haven't been wearing them.
You're not enjoying yourself, are you?
No.
I'm sorry, I thought you'd have to come to Wimbledon. All right, after this, we'll go anywhere you want to go.
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Let's go home.
Now, apart from home,
Sex farm.
Les, there's no such thing as a sex farm.
There is. Oh, Roger Daltrey from The Who, he's got a sex farm in Sussex.
Roger Daltrey's got a fish farm.
It's called a sex farm. He gets all these big rubber waders and he's well away.
Shut up.
You shut up.
You shut up. So, Valerie, how long exactly has the museum been going?
Well, it's been here since 1977 and it was opened to celebrate the centenary of the All England Club and the championships. Yes, we've been open since then.
Brilliant.
You know, you want to turn this into a sex farm, Valerie. You get a lot of people in, I think. A few cubicles.
I'm sorry, he's got sex on the brain today.
I don't know what's wrong with me today. I've got sex on the brain,
Sex on
Valerie.
the brain. I'm very, very sorry. Very, very sorry.
That's all right.
It's all right. It's all right. Yes.
It's been lovely anyway.
Come on, Liz.
Thank
Come on,
you.
Liz. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
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 Talk to you.
Don't you talk to Valerie like that.
She didn't mind.
She did.
Scooby-Doo's a dog. He was drawn on a bit of paper. Cartoon, Robert. Wasn't him?
Yeah, that's him.
Hang on. It was, you know. It was. It was him. Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
It is. It's him.
No.
It's him. It was
No,
him.
no.
It's him.
He's taller.
Scooby-Doo.
Yes, I could have been a contender. I could hit the ball pretty well when I concentrated. I had to make a choice, either turn professional or lead a life of disappointment, regret, and forgotten dreams with Les. Oh, well. Well, Les, how about it? How about a lovely game of tennis, eh? Hey?
Get stuffed.
Oh, please.
Get off.
Please, go on,
No,
please, go on.
no.
Please.
London's Rough and Ready have built themselves up a reputation as being one of the best live acts around. Signed to Island's new label, Sense, their new single, Tribal Mutation, is a neat mix of the band's wild street rhythm and politics. What influenced this band?
Loads of things, not just music either, you know. Other bits of reading, politics, you know, whatever, art. We do get into all sorts, you know.
You fight for causes as well, don't you? I mean, you were there on the day at Trafalgar Square.
Trafalgar Square, yeah. Yeah, good day, yeah. Well, you know, it's just one of them things, you know. We've been doing stuff for Turkish refugees, El Salvador, Nicaragua, whatever. It's good stuff, isn't it? ask you the old cliche question, is pop music the right vehicle for that message?
I think any medium we find ourselves in, if there's something that's concerning us, if we could portray it out, I think we should do it. If it's a media,
Yes.
it's art, drama.
It's the only thing that we can do as well, though, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we're too old to be footballers.
Come down and see the band live.
Give me an idea of what I might see there. Just 4 or 5 geezers jumping about the stage, making lots of noise.
Oh, it gets to those deep down stains.
I've got 2 words for you, Jessica and Lang, the woman who does to male sex hormones what kryptonite does to Superman. For total meltdown, you can see Jessica in the new Costa Gravas film, Music Box.
Mr. Laszlo.
Mike Laszlo.
My father. Look, this is a mistake. You've got the wrong Michael J. Laszlo.
Like hell we do.
The film is about a woman who is divorced, who has an 11-year-old son, who is a lawyer, and whose father is a naturalized American citizen of Hungarian origin.
If you're a good American, Mr. Laszlo, this country's in big trouble.
What the hell is this?
She goes to see him at his home and discovers that he has been served with papers which threaten to take away his citizenship on the grounds that he was a Nazi war criminal.
They got witnesses. Witnesses who identify you. They're accusing you of horrible things, Papa.
We set up a lovely central performance from Jessica Lang as the woman, Anne Talbot. And we then proceed to keep that going for 2/3 of the film and then cut it off because she actually might appear to have common sense.
My father is simply an innocent man who is unjustly accused.
She is a resourceful woman. She's obviously a good criminal lawyer. And the best tension in the film is when she proceeds to show you what a good criminal lawyer she is.
My father is a good man. He's the kind of man who is willing to put himself at risk against injustice. I know that, Your Honor. And before this trial is over, I will prove it to you.
There are lots of things that are lovely about the film. It's beautifully shot. It has faultless casting, and it has wonderful costuming, which is rare in modern films.
You know, I liked you, Mrs. Talbot. Now I think I must have misjudged you. You are your father's daughter.
I'm not sure that the Holocaust, in any of its variables, not just the Jews, but all the ethnic minorities, I'm really not sure if this is subject matter for fiction.
Do you honestly think you need a self-serving reason to justify prosecuting war criminals? I think maybe you should get another lawyer, Mrs. Talbot.
I mean, Costa Gavras is, the director's stance will be what it always is, which is this is about man's inhumanity to man, and I'm afraid that just isn't good enough for this movie.
It's not me. I didn't do this to you. I'm not a beast, I'm a father.
An exhibition at the Hayward Gallery called the British Art Show 1990 looks set to provoke an upcry at the cosy end of the art world. The show looks essentially at new British artists up to the ages of 35 and maintains a theme of the very new, the very conceptual, and at times, the very shocking.
Well, the British Art Show hopes to be a representative selection of the sort of young, positive, important artists, let's say under 35, a cross-section of what's going on in the country.
But there's a lot of new young artists who've been completely ignored by this show due to the fact that they work in a figurative area or in what would be regarded as an old-fashioned sculpture area. They've been completely blanked by these 3 curators. Surely this must be the ugliest piece in the show.
Yes, I mean, I think it's deliberately repellent. This is Melanie Council's work, and what she's got here is a series of filing cabinets, some pieces of rolled up, rather nasty carpet, sort of dunked in water in the bottom drawer of each of the filing cabinets.
Let's point out the smell as well. It smells
pretty rotten here. It's sort of like a domestic arrangement gone wrong.
Anything else is depressing.
It's a sad thought, but maybe it's a thought that needs to be made. There's no answer to this. And I think that's the most important thing when you walk around here. There's no answer. You should just drift in and out and take what you can. We've got this hard metal plating. Maybe it looks like armor. We've got bolts and screws. We've got zips going up and down the length of it.
You find that quite sexy then, do you?
I think it's extremely sexy. I think this is like the sexiest work in the show.
Now, this is Lisa Milroy.
What you've got here is sort of a still life, but not a still life, you know. Maybe you might call it an unstill life.
Kind of painting Imelda Marcos might want to buy, right?
Yes, quite.
Don't you think there's almost an inherent frustration in this work throughout it, saying we're desperate to be doing something new, we're so keen to be new, we are the new people, we're ignoring all those traditions, and it falls flat on its face for that very reason.
No, I think that for the first time in many, many years, there is British art that can be seen in an international context. We can hold our head up high and say, we really are pushing the boundaries forward here.
Simon Gray's latest play, Hidden Laughter, opens at the Vaudeville Theatre this week. Gray, whose last success was The Common Pursuit, is one of Britain's most prolific writers, and this is his 16th play in 24 years. Starring Felicity Kendall and Peter Bartworth, it is set in a West Country cottage and follows the fortunes of a London family who spend their weekends there over a period of 13 years.
It's the cherry orchard done for Devon. It's a very bleak play. It's about how the country kills, actually.
It's a play rather better than the last one or two Simon Gray plays, I think. He's mining what one might call Acheborn territory. Perhaps not as poetically as Acheborn, but it's a very sympathetic play, nevertheless.
It's, I think, in many ways more impressive than much of Acheborn, because underlying it is a really strong and powerfully sad sense of Chekhovian loss.
I think the problem here is that whatever the play Simon Gray has written, Simon Gray, the director, has managed to stage it so that all the wrong moments are emphasized.
I want a drink, actually, couldn't I?
It seems to me much closer to Chekhov than anything else, than anyone else's writing. Excuse my voice, I'm awfully cold. As well as I've been blubbing like a baby at the play as well, because it is very sad.
Island Queen was established here in the back streets of Islington in 1840 and has counted amongst its regulars such people as Joe Alton and Bruce Kent. Indeed, George Smiley used this as his logo in the TV production of Smiley's People. And when we get inside, you'll be out to see why.
It's like a cartoon, I guess. We change them every year at Christmas. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
The theme as such is still a hangover from Alice Through the Looking Glass, which was done by one of the customers here. Because I think the people that use the pub have a high awareness of style and things interesting. They now start to look forward to what we're doing from one year to the other.
Now, when you first walked in the door, what was your first impressions?
I need a drink.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
You get business done here. You get your car fixed. You borrow money. You get your holidays sorted out.
Well, I think it's very relaxed. Anyone who comes in here feels comfortable. One evening we had 3 masked raiders come in, 2 with shotguns and 1 with a pistol, and made everyone lay down on the floor. And when they left, went to the telephone, and everyone just got up off the floor and just carried on drinking as if nothing had happened. The jukebox was still going. They never turned the jukebox down while they were in there, and everyone carried on as normal.
You are the keeper of the jukebox, aren't you?
All the records on the jukebox belong to me.
Personal taste, I take it in, are they?
Rolling Stones, 10 years after, Black Sabbath.
As you're putting that point, in your custom position, the legendary 01 dominoes for Island Queen are yours.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Have the Rolling Stones gathered any moss since the 60s? We'll be back in 2 weeks when you'll have the chance to win some free tickets and find out.
Under 15 junior champion. You ready, Les? Was it in?
Aye?
Was it in?
Don't care, Robert.
Was it in?
Don't care.